Here we go. Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the weekly live training with me, Kelly McHugh. I'm the founder of Digital Yoga Academy, and I'm very pleased to be back here live and delivering these trainings for you. We've got a three-way going on today. So I'm live on Instagram, I'm live on the Facebook Digital Yoga Academy page, and also in the Facebook private group as well. So wherever you're watching from, say hello and let me know where you're coming from. Let me know where you're watching from, and we'll get started. So today's live training is all about creating a plan for list building. Okay, so if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I talk about email marketing a lot. You'll know I talk about building your email list. And there's one really important part that many people often leave out, or they don't perhaps spend much time on, and that's actually putting together a plan for your list building. Okay, so this training is really all about understanding the key components of the email list building planning process. Okay, so don't let that put you off. It really is quite simple, but really this is about, instead of jumping straight into trying to build your email list, it's really important to spend a little bit of time just understanding why you're trying to build your list and what your goals are, and what strategies are the best ones to help you to reach your goals. Okay, so there are actually just 3 questions that you need to answer in order to have an effective plan for your email list building. Okay, so these questions, the first one is about your goals. So what do you want out of your email list? And the second question is about your audience or your ideal students. So who are the ideal students that you are wanting to serve? So who are the types of people that you want to see in your classes? Who are the types of people that you want to see on your email list? And what is it that they want from you from being on your email list? So when they receive your emails each week, when they receive your newsletters, what is it that they actually want to receive from you in their inbox? So you should have a think about that. And then the third question is about your offering. So what will you deliver to help your ideal students to achieve the benefits and results that they want to achieve? Okay, so there's 3 really simple questions that you should have a think about before you go on to, put in place strategies to build your email list, before you start to create the freebies that you're going to have on your website, the free content that you'll make available. And knowing the answers to these questions and doing this prep work first is going to give you more clarity, and it's going to give you more purpose for your list building activities. So I hope that makes sense. So let's have a look first of all at that first question, which was around your goals. And I actually recommend, if you've got a pen and paper to hand, to grab that now, because I'm going to ask you a few things. I'm going to ask you to write down a couple of things as we go through this. Okay, so email list building goals. This is the first question. So clarity is really important here. So if you're unsure about where you're going, how can you ever hope to reach the destination? This is true for everything in life, and the same applies to list building. Okay, so it's not enough to just build your list. You need to know what you want to accomplish at the end of it. Okay, so your end goal should really guide you on the decisions you make around list building, and it will help you to prioritize the tactics that you're going to implement in order to build your list. Okay, so does that make sense? Let me know. I can see quite a few of you are watching now across Instagram and Facebook in the group as well. So do say hello and let me know where you're joining from. And if you've got any questions that come up throughout this as well, I'll do my very best to answer those. So list building really is a fundamental part of setting up a sales funnel to help you to sell online programs on autopilot. Okay, so let me talk to you a little bit about that. So you might be thinking, sales funnel, what is that? Okay, so let's talk about sales funnel. So imagine the funnel, imagine the shape of the funnel, and the activities that you do around sharing content on social media, or maybe you're writing blog posts. All of these things that are helping you to get eyes on you as a yoga teacher and you as and your yoga brand. Okay, so these are the top of the funnel activities that are going to help people come onto your website. Okay, so that's the top of the funnel. And once people are on your website, then hopefully you'll have some free content that you can share with them. And that free content might be a checklist, it might be a download of some sort that you will share with them in exchange for their email list. So by doing that, you're helping to move them down your sales funnel, okay? Once you've got those people on your email list, and hopefully these are going to be your ideal students, the types of people that you really want to see in your classes or to see in your online programs or at your retreats. Once you've got them on your email list, you can start to develop and nurture the relationship with them through an email sequence, okay? So you'll send them a number of emails over a period of time, and those emails will help to establish you as an expert in your field and in your yoga niche, and they'll help to develop that affinity with you and help your ideal students, the people that are on your email list, to resonate with you as well, okay? So once you've been able to do that, and if you've got a online program that you're wanting to launch, there will come a time when you'll be able to launch that program to your email list at the very bottom of that funnel. And a certain percentage of the people that come in at the top will go on to purchase your online program, or they'll go on to book your yoga retreat. And I'll talk about that percentage in a moment and how you go about working that out. Okay, so hopefully that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea as to what a sales funnel is in yoga terms. And, you know, simply put, you really need to set goals, okay? And many people, and, you know, a lot of the yoga teachers that I work with through my coaching program, when they first come to me, they don't have goals. And I totally get it. It's, you know, it can often be a little bit scary to sit down and think about putting goals in place, but it really is an important part, because, you know, by having a clear goal and some measurable criteria for your success, it's easier to understand, you know, what would be classed as a good result and where there are areas for improvement, where you need to focus on improving. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you've got a pen and paper there, I want you to write out an overall goal for building a list of ideal students. So what is your goal? Why are you building your email list? Okay, does anybody want to share that with me? I can see on Instagram we've got quite a few people watching now. So do any of you have a goal for your list building, or do you have an idea as to you know, why you want to build an email list? So it might be, you know, I want to build my email list because my goal is to sell online yoga programs. Okay, I want to build my email list because I want to create a monthly membership program for my students. It could be, I want to build my email list because in 12 months time I want to promote and launch my first yoga retreat abroad. Okay, and I want to have an active audience to see my offerings. So what is it that you're aiming to achieve? What is your goal for building your list? Write that down now. If you've got a pen and paper there, write that down. And then once you've done that, I want you to have a think about your why. Okay, so why do you want to achieve this goal? What impact is it going to have on your life? And what impact is it going to have on your students' lives? Okay, so is there a particular struggle that you're helping to solve? So for instance, okay, maybe you want to offer an online program because you want to reach more students around the world. You want to reach and share your yoga and help more people living around the world. Maybe it's because you know, you want to generate more income in your business. You want to free up your time so that you can travel and teach yoga around the world. So have a think about your why and write down what that is. Okay, it's really important to understand and to tap into why you're doing this and why you're spending time each week building your email list, because you should be spending time each week building your email list if you're not. And I'll give you a moment to do that. So hopefully you've got a pen and paper and you're able to write these little prompts down. So first up, we've written down what our goal is, and then second, we're writing down our why. Okay, why we want to achieve that goal. And then once you've done that, I want you to start thinking about the numbers. Okay, so we're going to put some numbers behind all of this. So have a think about how many people you want to get on your list. Okay, what number are you aiming for? So do you have a number? Can anybody share their number with me? Share your number with us. What is, you know, or having a number or a list growth goal, it's going to help you to keep on track. It's going to help you to stay focused, okay? If you don't have a number, if you don't have a goal, how can you keep working towards that number? Or how can you stay motivated? Yeah, so no number, there's no purpose. So there are actually 3 major milestones to building your list. Hello, Curvy Yoga Me. No, 500 is not too ambitious. 500 is a really good number, okay? It's a really good number. Really, really good. I love that. So are you starting from 0? Or have you got anyone on your list at the moment? I always say, you know, be ambitious, go for it. You know, put something big, be epic, go big or go home. So there are 3 major milestones to building a list. The first is getting to 100 subscribers, okay? The second is getting to 1,000 subscribers. And the third is getting to 10,000 subscribers, okay? So you want to select your goal, your list growth goal, okay? So if you're starting from scratch, aim for 100 to begin with, okay? Now, actually, if you are aiming for 100, what you want to do is go onto the Digital Yoga Academy website, go to the free resources and sign up for my 3-day list building challenge to get yourself to 100 people on your list in 3 days. Okay, so go and do that. Okay, and then once you've got that, once you've got your 100, then work towards your 500, then work towards 1,000 people, and then go from there. Okay, so you want to select your list growth goal, and then you want to make it SMART. Okay, so SMART is, it wants to be specific, it wants to be measurable, it wants to be actionable, it wants to be realistic, and it wants to be time bound. Okay, so for example, I want to increase the growth of my email list by 10% if you've already got a number there, or I want to grow my email list to 500 subscribers during the next 10 months. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're including a number and that you're including a time frame and that it's really specific, and then you can go on from there, you can go on to include how you're going to do that. Okay, so you might say, I'm going to run some webinars to grow my list, or I'm going to create 5 freebies that I'll share over the next 10 months, or I'm going to create a content upgrade for every blog post that I share. Okay, so a content upgrade is a free piece of content that you will offer within a blog post or at the end of a blog post that's related to the content that you've shared in that blog post. So it gives people a real, a relevant reason to sign up to your list at that very moment when they're reading your blog. So try and add some specifics around your goal, rather than just saying, I want to grow my email list. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, so if you've got your pen and paper there, I want you to write down the number that you have in mind and see if you can make it smart, okay? So write down the number that you want to grow your list to, and put a time frame in place, and just make sure, just double check that it's realistic. Okay, so if you're starting from scratch, you don't want to put 10,000. Okay, 10,000 in 3 months, it's going to be very, very difficult to do that. So make it achievable, make it actionable, and then again, just pop down why you want to do this. Okay, articulate your why. So why do you want 100 people on your list? Why do you want 500 people on your list? Why do you want 1,000 people on your list? And it might be because it will link into what we've already spoken about, why you want to grow your actual list. Okay, so it could be because you want 500 to know about your online program when you launch it in 6 months' time. Okay. So once you've got this number, I want you to start to think about this number in the context of feeding ideal students into the sales funnel to sell an online program. Okay. Now, many people in my community, many of the teachers in my community have recently completed or they've recently taken part in a poll where I asked who is planning to create an online program in the future, and the vast majority said that this was something that they were thinking of actioning in their own yoga business at some point. And so when I'm talking about this today, I'm talking about list building in the context of feeding people to your so that you can go on to sell an online program. And list building is a really fundamental part of this process, okay? If you think that you're going to create and launch an online program without building your list, then please think again, because you need to have your email list in place. You need to have list building strategies in place that you're implementing on a consistent basis to be able to feed that funnel so that you can successfully launch an online program. Please don't try and launch an online program without building your list first. And, you know, this requires some patience, because list building is not an overnight thing. It's not an overnight strategy. It's something that you have to continually work at. And that's okay, because I'm gathering that, you know, you guys, you want to be yoga teachers for some time. Okay, we're not doing this. You know, this is something that we want to do for the long term. So you know, you don't have to do this overnight. It can be something that you can work at. So email lists typically have a 1 to 3% conversion rate. So I want you to write this down. Okay, so this means that if you have 1,000 people on your email list, the statistics will show that between 10 and 30 of the people on your list will likely end up purchasing your online program. Okay, now it might not sound like a lot, but when you start to put the numbers, when you start to add the numbers around, you know, the price of your online program and maybe how many times you're going to launch in a year, then it starts to build up. Okay, so it really does. The conversion rate really, it also depends on what your program curriculum is. So do your yoga students actually that? Also, it depends on the price point. Can they afford it? Okay, but it is a pretty sound equation to start to figure out how many people may turn into paying students, okay? So around 1 to 3%. I mean, it's not unusual if you create something that your audience really, really wants and the price point is right for them. It's not unusual to get a 5% conversion rate from your list. So 5% of the people on your email list going on to become a student in your online offering, in your online program. Maybe it's a membership site. So does that make sense? For those of you that are watching, does that make sense? Okay, so I want you to, just for argument's sake, let's go with picking a price point for a future online program. So let's pick that price point. Everybody write down $197. Okay, so let's say for an online program that you're about to launch, and that online program costs $197. Yeah. So let's do the maths, okay? So let's base this on a 2% conversion rate of people on your list purchasing your online program, okay? So let's say that you've got 1,000 people on your list and 2% of those people are converting onto your online program. So we're going to put 1,000 times 0.2%, okay, so 2%, so that's 20 people, okay, and then you want to times that by £197. Does everyone get this? So you would go on to, so $197. So that would bring in just under $4,000 into your business from selling your online program if 2% of people on your list convert and become a student. Does that make sense? What I'm going to do is I'm going to write this conversion, this calculation. I'm going to write it in the comments on the Facebook page. So if you're on Instagram, you can whip over to the Facebook Digital Yoga Academy page in a moment, and you'll find that conversion calculation there. Okay, so once you understand that, if you write that down, you can start to just have a play around with those numbers, and even better, you can put them into a spreadsheet and you can play around with the calculations, so you can see how much your total amount would be if you increase the number of people on your email list, or if you charged more for your online program. And you can start to work out what the revenue might be. So have a little play around with that. And it just starts to give you a little bit of an idea as to the potential for having an online program in the future, and the potential for bringing in more money, for generating more income into your yoga business. And you might be teaching a number of classes each week, and by having an online program, it would allow you to reduce the amount of hours that you're teaching in a studio, and while still bringing income into your business. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the third question, which was around the audience. Okay, so we've already done a little digging around gaining some clarity on our goals and around our ideal students, but let's just dig a little bit deeper. So think about your students and what they want from you. Okay, so what words do your ideal students use to express the challenges that they have? I want you to write these words down. Okay, so if you're unsure about this, then this week I want you to go into class and I want you to ask your students at the end of the class, ask them what they're struggling with, ask them what it is that they're trying to achieve from their yoga journey. Okay, so for instance, if you're teaching beginners, it might be that they they're perhaps feeling a little bit intimidated to join classes, or, you know, if you're trying to encourage your students to develop a home practice, then what's stopping them from doing that? What words do they use to describe how they feel right now about their yoga journey? Does that make sense? So it might be that, you know, they're lacking motivation and they need you to help them with that part of their journey. It might be that they're struggling to find the time. So maybe, you know, that means that you could help them by creating some really short 15 or 20-minute flows that they could fit into their day. Yeah. So by starting to recognize the words that they're using and starting to understand how they describe their yoga journey and where they are right now, then that really helps you to identify how you can help them and how you can create programs and offerings that will help them. Does that make sense? So I want you to start to write that down. So, and if you don't know, you can come back to this, but ask your students and find out what it is that or find out the words that they use to express the challenges that they have. And then also, what are the benefits and results that they want to have? So what sort of transformation are they looking for in their yoga journey? And once you know this, then start to look at how your email marketing, so the information and the knowledge and, you know, what you share with them through the newsletters that you send to them, you know, how can you help them with this transformation? Once you know what the transformation is that they're trying to achieve, you can start to create your email content around that. So it's really relevant. And, you know, when they read your emails, they think, wow, this yoga teacher really understands where I'm at with my yoga journey right now. This yoga teacher is the right teacher for me to support me on my journey. And that is what you're trying to achieve. Yeah, because that will, you know, if you can get into their mind and you can help and you can make them think that, you can what happens then is they'll start to want to open your emails. They'll look forward to receiving your emails, and that's really what you're aiming for. Okay, so the last thing, so the last question was about the offering, was about your offering that you'll create to support your ideal students on their journey. And this really follows on from the questions we've just gone through and the prompts we've just gone through. So, you know, the offering that you have in place can be topics that you use to attract your ideal student onto your email list. So once you have a good idea as to what your students are struggling with, then further down the line, you'll start to create an online offering around those struggles, okay? And those struggles will make up your program, okay? So your program could be all of the topics that you would cover as part of your curriculum. And then these topics can be used to attract your ideal students onto your email list and into your sales funnel. So you want to use this knowledge to start to create freebies. And these freebies would be the elements of your online program, as this will help to attract the right people onto your list. So what are the benefits and results that they want to have and what's in it for them? And then what will you deliver to help your ideal students to achieve the benefits and results? So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a starter there with, you know, thinking about your goals, thinking about your students, and then starting to think about what your offering would be for your students and for your email marketing. Okay, so if you've got any questions, then do add them now. I will come back if any questions get added later after the live feed. But thank you for watching, everyone. I'll be here every Tuesday, and also just to let you know that the June the June speaker series. So if you're in our private community, if you're in the group, you'll know that every month I invite yoga teachers and experts into the group to deliver live trainings. And so thank you. So last month we had a number of teachers that came in and they went live on a number of different topics, and this month we've got exactly the same. So if you're not a member of the group, please do join us. There's some really good trainings there and they're free and you can access them at any time. So yeah, so anyway, that's all from me. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me for the last half an hour. I will see you next week. Lots of love. Have a great week. Bye.